Chapter 42. The conference room on the district attorney's floor was all business. A whiteboard filled with scribbled notes and timelines covered one wall. The names Merrick, Black, Johnson, and now Harold Worth listed in neat lettering. Matt, Joe, and Kat sat at a conference table with Assistant District Attorney Samuel Rosenstein. Rosenstein closed the case file he'd been reviewing and looked up at the three investigators seated across from him. He spread his hands. "Okay," he said. "Convince me." Matt glanced at Joe and Kat. They'd agreed beforehand that he would present their case. He cleared his throat and leaned forward. "Kelly Worth owns a 2011 white Toyota Camry," Matt began. He tapped a grainy surveillance photo. "The same make and model was spotted dumping Ed Black's body." Matt slid another photo across the table, a blurry security camera image showing a large figure near a fence line. Next, a large male was videoed actually disposing of the body. "The FBI experts tell us that unidentified male matches the height and general build of Harold Worth." Rosenstein picked up the photo, examining it. Kelly Worth had a motive. She believes her husband was cheated out of a business he helped build. He filed a lawsuit and lost, and after the loss, he committed suicide. The defendants in the lawsuit were the fathers of the victims in this case: Cal Merrick, Alvin Black, and Jeff Johnson. It's a revenge murder, systematic elimination of their children. "How did she kill them?" Rosenstein asked. "The first two with a drug called succinylcholine," he said. "The second two with a bullet to the head. The son, Harold, by suffocation." "How did she get the succinylcholine?" Rosenstein asked. "I don't know," Matt admitted. "We're checking hospitals, pharmacies, veterinary offices, anywhere it might be available. Nothing yet." "You have a weapon for the shootings?" "No," Matt said, feeling the momentum of their case bleeding away with each question. Beside him, Joe shifted uncomfortably in his chair. Kat's face remained impassive. "I want this woman as badly as the three of you do," Rosenstein said. "I've read the file more than once. What you have is all circumstantial. I might successfully get the indictment, but it's not enough to convict." He leaned forward, counting off on his fingers. The first victim was decapitated. That had to be bloody. Where did she do it? Where did she get the drugs? Where is the weapon? How did she lure and subdue the first two victims? "I need evidence of those four things," Rosenstein continued. "Maybe not all four. Two would be good. Three even better." Matt remained silent, the muscles in his jaw working as he clenched his teeth. He wasn't angry at Rosenstein. The prosecutor was right, and they all knew it. He was angry at himself for not having more. Kat was the first to speak. "We're checking the gun stores for purchases, but so far nothing." "We obtained a warrant for the vehicle and the tech guys went through it," Joe added. "So far they found nothing. Not a single hair or speck of dirt. That says something, doesn't it?" "Nice try," Rosenstein said. "Her lawyer is going to say it means she keeps her vehicle clean. I need something concrete that ties her to these murders. I'm sorry." Matt sat with Penny watching the evening news, his mind still churning over the earlier meeting with Assistant District Attorney Rosenstein. He felt depressed. He'd reached a brick wall in the investigation. He knew in his heart Kelly Worth was the perpetrator, but he couldn't put it all together. "What?" he said, suddenly aware that Penny had spoken to him. "I said, how do they do it?" Penny repeated, pointing at the television screen, where a news segment showed a tearful older woman standing in front of a modest suburban home. Matt focused on the broadcast. The woman, probably in her 60s, was being interviewed about an impending foreclosure. "That woman is going to lose her house," Penny explained. "She's been giving the mortgage payments to her son, who she thought was paying the bank monthly. Instead of making the payments, he's been spending the money." I asked, "How do they do it?" "How does who do what?" Matt was still struggling to pull his mind back from the investigation. "The mortgage company. How do they take the house? Do they just go in and ask for the keys? What happens?" Matt thought for a moment, grateful for the distraction from his circling thoughts. "They auction it off." "How?" "My brothers could give you a better explanation." He'd heard Robert and John discuss the process often enough during family dinners. "The mortgage company sends a notice, and then they auction the house off at the courthouse steps." Penny looked confused. If they auction it off, how does the mortgage company end up with the house? The mortgage company buys the house at the auction for what's owed on it. It's possible for another person to buy it, but usually the mortgage company ends up purchasing the house. It doesn't seem right to throw that poor woman out because of her son, Penny said, going back to the news report. Holy shit, he whispered. What? You just gave me an idea. What idea? Where did Kelly Worth commit the murders? Not at her house. We searched it top to bottom and found nothing. Not in her car, not in her garage. Matt felt the familiar rush of adrenaline that came with making a breakthrough. What if she used a property that was foreclosed on, a place that would be sitting empty, with no one around to witness anything? Penny's eyes widened. Is that possible? It's a long shot, Matt admitted, already pushing himself off the couch. But it's something I haven't looked at. He strode across the open living space to the desk where he'd set up his laptop. Penny followed, watching as he powered up the computer. Do you think the Worths owned another property? She asked, leaning against the edge of the desk. Maybe. Matt's fingers moved swiftly across the keyboard. The county records database loaded on the screen. Matt entered Andrew Worth and waited for the search to complete. Researching deed records online is tedious and time-consuming, he explained as they watched the progress bar inch across the screen. It should be as simple as entering a name and pressing the search button, but it never is because you have to try variations of the name you're searching. The search yielded a single result, the transaction where Andrew and Kelly had purchased the home in which Kelly now resided with Harold. Matt tried a Worth next. No results. Matt entered Kelly Worth into the search field. Again, nothing. He tried variations. K Worth, KL Worth, Kelly L. Worth, each time coming up empty. An hour passed as Matt methodically worked through the neighboring counties. Dallas County to the south yielded nothing. Rockwall County to the east was equally unhelpful. Penny, who had wandered off to the kitchen and returned with a glass of wine, now pressed against him from behind and wrapped her free arm around his shoulders. You've been at this for hours, she said, her lips close to his ear. Come to bed. One more county, he said, clicking to the Denton County Clerk's website and entering a new search. Penny set her wineglass down and ran her hand along his arm. We could play pirate, she whispered. I'll be a wicked pirate, and I just captured your ship. You are now my prisoner. Matt caught her wandering hand. 30 minutes. Give me 30 minutes. She pulled her hand back in a dramatic sigh. I'm going to time you. 30 minutes, he repeated, and I'll be the pirate and you be the prisoner. She pouted, then her expression brightened. Fine, but I escape and then capture you. She moved away toward the hallway that led to the bedroom. You're going to look silly in my pirate outfit. Matt forced his attention back to the computer screen. His third search, when he entered Kelly Worth into the Denton County database, finally yielded a result. There you are, he murmured, double-clicking on the link to display the full image of the document. It didn't take long to interpret the series of documents that appeared. Kelly Worth, during her marriage to Andrew, had purchased a piece of property located in Denton County, Texas. From the description in the deed, the property was 2 acres in size and included a residence. She had owned the property for 5 years until it was foreclosed upon by the lender after Andrew's suicide. Got you, Matt said, printing the documents. This was the break he needed, a location where Kelly Worth could have committed the murders without leaving evidence at her current residence. A place she would know intimately, where she'd feel comfortable carrying out her grisly work. As the printer finished spitting out the last page, Matt heard movement from the direction of the bedroom. He looked up to see Penny standing in the doorway, transformed. She wore thigh-high black spiked boots, a short black skirt that barely covered the essentials, and a white blouse tied above her flat midriff. A black hat with feathers was perched at a jaunty angle on her head, and a plastic cutlass was strapped to her hip. She turned slowly in a circle, striking a pose with her hand on the sword. Do you still want to be the pirate? She asked, a mischievous smile playing on her lips. Matt pushed back from the desk, the investigation momentarily forgotten. No, he said, crossing the room toward her. You definitely make a better pirate.